Your life does not begin with a scream. It begins with a pause. A hand lifts you, tiny, slick with birth, still half belonging to the dark. Air hits your lungs like cold water. You want to cry, but the world does not care what you want. They hold you over a drop, not a metaphor, a real edge, rock, wind, silence below. An elder studies you the way a butcher studies meat, without hatred, without love, without hesitation. His eyes are calm because this is routine. A city is not built from wishes. A city is built from decisions. He is looking for weakness, twisted limb, shallow breath, a spine that doesn't look like it will carry armor. He presses your rib cage with 2 fingers, as if checking a drum. He turns you, checks the back of your neck, the curve of your skull. If you are wrong for Sparta, you will be thrown down now. You are too young to understand fear, but your body understands pressure. Something inside you goes still. Your lungs hold, your hands clench. The elder's gaze meets yours, and you do not cry. Not because you are brave, because your instinct is ancient, older than language, a reflex that says, don't waste energy, don't show weakness, endure. The elder nods once, a small movement, a verdict. You're placed into arms that smell like sweat and smoke. You are allowed to exist. That is your first victory. It will not be your last. It will not be your happiest. 7 years, the state takes you. Your mother does not raise you the way other mothers do. She is warm, yes. She feeds you, yes. But even her lullabies have an edge. She does not sing about gentle gods. She sings about shields and wolves and men who do not return. She watches you crawl and then walk with a focus that feels like training. When you fall, she doesn't rush to rescue the fall. She watches what you do next. Do you whimper? Do you rise? Sparta notices everything. At 7, your father's authority ends. In other cities, a boy is a family's future. In Sparta, a boy is the city's property. They come for you in daylight, not like thieves. There is no secrecy, there is no apology. You are not stolen, you are claimed. Your father stands with his jaw clenched, hands empty. He has no right to stop them. Your mother ties your cloak, fingers quick, eyes steady. She looks at you like she is memorizing your face, not because she expects you to die, because she expects you to become someone she will not recognize. You walk away without turning. Turning is a softness. Turning is a crack. You follow the older boys to the barracks, where childhood goes to be scraped away like fat from bone. The Agoge, hunger as a teacher. There are no beds. There is reed, dry, sharp reed you must gather yourself, bare-handed. You snap it from the riverbank until your fingers split. Blood darkens the stalks. Pain is not a tragedy here. Pain is proof you are awake. You sleep on what you earned. You wake with the taste of reeds in your mouth, the smell of damp bodies and old sweat in your nostrils. The air is always crowded, boys packed together like arrows in a quiver. The food arrives, not a meal, a ration. Black broth in a bowl, dark, thin, shining. It smells like iron and vinegar. The elders call it strength. Your tongue calls it punishment. You swallow anyway, because your stomach is a god with one command: more. They do not feed you enough. This is not cruelty for sport. This is policy. A hungry boy thinks. A hungry boy adapts. A hungry boy steals. So you steal. You learn to take bread without sound, to lift cheese from a table without eyes catching you. You learn how to read footsteps, how to hear breath. The best thieves are not fast. They are invisible.
And the rule is not don't steal. The rule is don't get caught. If you're caught, you're beaten. Not because you stole, but because you failed. Failure is the only sin Sparta recognizes. Shoes are forbidden. You run barefoot on stone that cuts like teeth. At first you bleed, then your feet harden. Skin becomes leather. Pain becomes background noise. You are given one cloak a year. One. Summer you sweat under it. Winter you freeze in it. The cloth stinks of you, of smoke, of dampness, of all the months you cannot wash away. You learn that comfort is not something you deserve. Comfort is something you do not need. When cold becomes dangerous, you do what you must. You rub nettles on your skin to make it burn. Burning is warmth. Burning is better than numbness. Numbness is how fingers die. Your body is being rewritten, not into beauty, into usefulness.
Words are weapons, but only few. They teach you letters, yes, the basics, enough to count, enough to read orders, enough to not be helpless. But language is not the point. The point is restraint. In Sparta, words are like arrows. Waste them and you're weak. They train you to speak briefly, sharply, with meaning packed tight, like a spear thrust, not a story. An elder asks you a question. You answer in one sentence. He asks for more. You stay silent. He smiles. Silence is not emptiness here. Silence is control. You learn to look at a man and say everything without saying anything. This will save your life later when fear tries to climb into your throat and turn you into noise. Artemis Orthia, the festival of not screaming. Once a year, the city dresses brutality in ritual. They call it a festival. They call it honor. They call it a test. At the sanctuary of Artemis Orthia, boys are brought forward and whipped in public. The crowd watches. Mothers watch. Elders watch. The air is full of dust and breath, and the sharp, eager sound of people waiting to see if you will break. The whip tears skin, not once, again, again, again. It doesn't feel like pain at first. It feels like heat. Then it becomes something else, a deep, ugly tearing that makes your body demand a scream. That's what the whip is for. Not to hurt you, to tempt you, to pull weakness out like a confession. Your task is simple. Do not make a sound. Not because silence is noble, because sound is surrender. Blood runs down your back, your knees shake, your eyes water, your vision narrows, and you hold your mouth shut like it's a gate that must not open. Inside your skull, something hardens. A small piece of you dies. A larger piece of you is born. Pancration, the lesson of close violence. In the barracks, they teach you to fight in ways that are not pretty. Pancration is not sport, not really. It is chaos with rules so few they feel like jokes. You can strike, you can choke, you can wrench fingers until they snap. You can bite, you can crush, you can make another boy see stars and then darkness. Your opponent is not a stranger. He is the boy who shared bread with you yesterday. He is the boy whose laughter you recognize. He is the boy who will stand beside you in a shield wall one day. And now you are trying to break him. You learn the truth early. Affection does not cancel violence. Brotherhood does not mean gentleness. In Sparta, love is forged in the same fire as cruelty. After fights, you limp back to the reed beds, bruised, bleeding, breathing like an animal. You share the broth, you share the silence, and the next day you fight again. The fox and the standard of endurance. A story circulates in the barracks like a disease.
A boy once stole a fox cub and hid it under his cloak. The animal panicked. It clawed, it bit, it tore into him. But the boy did not move. He did not cry out. He did not reveal himself. He died quietly while the fox ate. The elders tell the story with approval. This is the kind of thing Sparta loves, a death that proves control. You listen and feel something twist in you. Part of you recoils. Part of you, the part being trained, takes the lesson and stores it away. Better to be destroyed than to be exposed. You do not want to become that boy, but you also do, because Sparta teaches you to crave the thing that hurts.
16. The Crypteia, becoming a shadow. At 16, training changes flavor. Childhood violence is loud, it is obvious. Now it becomes quiet. You are chosen or you are not. You are watched, tested, measured, and one night you are given a blade. Not a spear, not a shield, a knife. Short, simple, honest. They tell you to leave the city, to live outside, in the dark, among the hills and olive trees. They tell you the names of your targets, helots, enslaved people who work the land that feeds Sparta. Some helots are too strong, too bold, too capable of rebellion. Sparta calls it prevention. Sparta calls it security. You feel the weight of the knife and understand this is not battle. This is hunting. You learn to sleep in dirt, to drink from streams, to eat what you can steal or find. You learn to move without light. Your ears become sharper than your eyes. Your skin starts to feel the air. You watch a man for days, a helot with wide shoulders, with hands that could hold a spear. He laughs with his fellows. He moves like someone who could become a leader. Sparta cannot afford leaders among slaves. The night you decide is not dramatic. No thunder, no omen. Just the moment your mind stops arguing. You step from darkness. Your hand clamps his mouth. Your blade slides into his throat. Warm blood spills over your fingers. His eyes widen, then soften, then empty. He makes no heroic speech. He makes no curse. He makes a small sound that is more surprise than pain. You hold him until the body is only weight. You drag him into brush. You breathe hard and look at your hands. This is your first murder. Not in a shield wall, not for glory, not in the sun. In the dark, like a ghost. You expect guilt. You feel nothing. Then you feel something colder than guilt. Understanding. If they rise, they kill us. If we kill them, we live. It is not moral, it is arithmetic. Sparta teaches arithmetic well. 20. Acceptance, or exile forever. At 20, the Agoge ends. That does not mean you are free. It means you are ready to be judged. To become a full citizen, you must be accepted into a Sicician, one of the communal mess groups, the military brotherhoods that are the real families of Sparta. The ritual is simple and terrifying. Men sit in a circle. Bread is passed. Each man votes in secret. A man who accepts you drops his piece normally. A man who rejects you squeezes the bread in his fist, leaving a mark, small, hidden, but decisive. One rejection is enough. One crushed piece, and your life becomes exile inside your own city. You would remain a Spartan body without Spartan belonging, alive but socially dead. You stand outside, waiting, listening to nothing but your own blood in your ears. You have survived hunger, cold, whips, fights, nights of murder, and now you might be destroyed by a soft piece of bread. The door opens. A man you respect looks at you and nods. You are in. Your chest loosens like a knot untied. You do not smile. Smiling would be a leak. But inside, something rises. For the first time, You feel what other people call safety, not the safety of walls, the safety of being part of something that will not let you stand alone. Inventory. You put on your life. Now the city gives you what you were made for. Armor is not decoration. It is an extension of your body, one you have been training to carry since boyhood. They hand you the dory, the spear, long, rough shaft, leaf-shaped iron head made to punch through flesh and bronze, a bronze butt spike at the back so the spear can still kill when the head breaks. They hand you the Zephos, short sword, meant for the moment when distance collapses and battle becomes a crush. It is not a hero's blade, it is a butcher's blade. 60 centimeters of certainty. They hand you the aspis, the big round shield, heavy, 8 kilos or more. It covers you from neck to knee. It does not hang from your hand like a toy. It locks onto your forearm, a system that turns your whole arm into a wall. You can hold it for hours because you have been holding hardship for years. They give you a helmet, Corinthian style, a bronze skull that makes you look like a demon. It narrows your vision. It muffles sound. Inside it, your breath is loud. Your own heartbeat is louder. This is what it feels like to become a machine. Your torso is wrapped in a linothorax, layers of linen glued and pressed like wood, lighter than bronze, still strong enough to stop arrows if the gods are kind. With everything on, you carry around 30 kilos of death-proofing, half your body weight in metal and discipline, and you feel right, as if you have been incomplete until now.
The phalanx. You are a brick in a wall. Sparta does not train lone wolves. Sparta trains a wall. In the phalanx, your shield protects your left side and your neighbor's right. His shield protects your right side. You are stitched together by bronze and trust. The first rule is not be brave. The first rule is hold the line. If you drop your shield, you are not just saving yourself, you are opening a hole for everyone. Lose your helmet, you are fined. Lose your shield, you are punished like a traitor. Because a helmet is personal, a shield is communal. Your identity changes in the phalanx. You stop being a me, you become a position, a pressure point, a piece of architecture. You learn the rhythm, step, brace, thrust, recover. Step, brace, thrust, recover. You learn how the back ranks push the front ranks so the line becomes a single creature, one body made of many men. When you march, a flute plays, not to entertain you, to keep your feet and breath in time. Even in movement, Sparta refuses chaos. 480 BCE, Thermopylae, the place where your name ends. War comes with a number, 480. The Persians have crossed into Greece. Xerxes, king of kings, brings an empire with him. Not a raid, not a skirmish, a flood. You hear impossible figures, 1,000,000 men, an ocean of bodies. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. Because even 200,000 is still infinity when it's marching toward your home. King Leonidas calls for a small force, 300 Spartans. Not the only Greeks there, but the core, men with sons, men with something to leave behind, men who can die without ending their family line. You are one of them. You march south beneath the sun. The earth smells of salt and pine. Your armor rubs your skin raw, but that is normal. Normal is discomfort. At Thermopylae, the pass is narrow, mountain on one side, sea on the other. The width is a weapon. It turns numbers into a problem. The Persian scouts arrive. They stare at you. You are not praying. You are combing your hair. You oil it, smooth it back. It is not vanity. It is ritual. If death is coming, you meet it clean. A messenger demands surrender. Lay down your weapons. Leonidas's answer is simple, one of those Spartan sentences that contains an entire philosophy. Come and take them. The air feels sharper after that, as if the world has decided what it wants.
Day 1. Noise meets silence. The Persians come in waves. First Medes, men rushing, shouting, bright cloth, light shields woven of reeds. They look like an army that expects fear to win before blades do. You do not answer their noise. You wait. When they enter spear range, the front of your phalanx moves like a jaw closing. Thrust. The leaf-shaped head punches through flesh, through ribs, through the soft parts that armor doesn't cover. Your shield slams into a man's chest, folding him backward. Your spear withdraws. Thrust again. Forward, back. Forward, back. Not dueling, grinding. Bodies pile. The ground becomes slick. Blood mixes with dust and turns into mud that sucks at your feet. The dead are under you, so you step on them like stones in a river. Your arms burn. Your shoulders feel as if they are being pulled from sockets. The weight of the line presses into you from behind, the push of your brother's shields against your back. A whistle. Rotation. You step back. Another man takes your place. You breathe. Water is passed. It tastes warm and metallic, like it has been stored in bronze. You drink anyway. Your lungs feel like torn cloth, but your hands are steady. Back into the line. By evening, the bodies in front of the pass are stacked like a grotesque wall. The Persian numbers have become scenery. You sleep in armor, because removing it would be a luxury. Day 2. The Immortals learn a lesson. Xerxes grows tired of feeding men into your spears. He sends his elite, the Immortals. They look different, better. Their movements are controlled. They have armor under their clothing. Their spears are not toys. Their discipline makes them dangerous. For the first time, your shield shudders under real impact. Bronze rings, wood groans. An immortal slips low, fast. Something bites into your thigh. Pain, sharp and hot. Your body floods itself with adrenaline. Time stretches. You don't panic. You do what you were built to do. Shield up, edge to throat, a slam. The man's neck collapses with a sound like breaking fruit. He falls. Another comes. You feel fury rise, wild, animal, ancient. Not the fury of a berserker, the fury of a wall that refuses to crack. The Immortals step back, not retreating in rout, withdrawing in calculation. They are not immortal. They are simply trained, and so are you. The betrayal, a path behind the mountain. That night, the air is cold and the sea whispers. A local man, Ephialtes, shows Xerxes a hidden track, a path around the pass, a way to turn the narrow weapon into a trap. At dawn, runners arrive with faces like stone. They're behind us. No poetry, no drama, just the sentence that changes everything. You are surrounded. Now, Thermopylae is not a defense. It is an execution. Leonidas dismisses the allies. Many will leave, some will stay. You do not judge them. Judgment is for later generations who do not smell blood. The Spartans remain, 300. You know you will die today, and the strange thing is, your stomach does not drop, your breath does not stutter. You have been trained for this your entire life. This is the final exam.
Breakfast in the shadow of death. Morning comes. The sun rises like it always has, indifferent. Birds call. Wind moves through grass. The world looks unfairly normal. You eat in silence. Leonidas speaks. Eat well. Tonight we dine in the underworld. Some men laugh, not because it's funny, but because it is pure Spartan medicine, to swallow fear with humor. You check your gear. You tighten your straps. Your thigh wound has stiffened. It will matter later. You step into position, but not in the narrow pass this time. You move forward, out onto wider ground. If you are going to die, you will take as much of the empire with you as possible. The phalanx loosens, not breaks, loosens. It becomes something else, controlled chaos. The last stand, when the wall becomes a storm. The fight is everywhere at once. Your spear punches, then snaps, wood splintering under heavy impact. You throw the broken shaft away. Your hand finds your sword. Xephos in close quarters is a brutal tool. You cut into faces, into arms, into legs. The world becomes a narrow tunnel of targets and breath. A Persian blade hits your shield, and the rim cracks. Another blow. The aspis, your wall, your identity, splinters. When the shield finally breaks, something inside you feels naked. You throw the wreckage aside, not because you want to, because you have to. Your sword jams in bone. You wrench it free. It bends. It snaps near the hilt. Now you hold a useless handle and a memory. You are disarmed. And then you remember the oldest weapon Sparta ever gave you, your body. You smash with forearms protected by bronze. You elbow a man's teeth out. You headbutt through the narrow eye slit of your helmet. You bite when hands are full and there is nothing else. History will later say you fought with hands and teeth. History will not understand that at this point, you are not fighting to win. You are fighting because you have never been taught how to stop. You see Leonidas fall, not gracefully, not like a statue, like a man, pierced, crushed, dragged down by numbers. And the battle changes again. The Spartans surge toward his body like wolves around a fallen alpha. The fight becomes savage, desperate, intimate. You drag a Persian down by the throat. Your nails fill with blood and dirt. Your thigh screams. You ignore it. Ignoring is your first language. Around you, brothers fall, men you have known since reed beds and whips and cold nights. Their faces change from alive to empty in seconds. The line is gone now. There is only the pile of bodies growing higher, a hill made of the empire. Silence comes suddenly, like a curtain dropping. The Persians step back. You hear only your breath, ragged, wet, animal. And then you see the sky. It darkens, not from clouds, from arrows, thousands. The sound is like hail, metal striking earth, wood, flesh. You have no shield. You have no wall. An arrow hits your chest. The linothorax resists, then fails. You feel cold metal push into heat. Your legs buckle. You drop to your knees. You look up and see Greek sky, blue, endless, indifferent. It looks exactly like the sky you saw as a child before you knew what you were made for. The pain fades, not because it lessens, but because your body is finally out of fuel. Your heart beats slower. You do not think about glory. You think about the reed beds, about the smell of broth, about a mother's steady hands. And then, nothing.
Aftermath. Even victory can feel like loss. Xerxes walks among the dead. He has won, and still his face is not the face of celebration, because victory has a cost, and he can count it. Thousands of his men lie where they fell. His elite, men he believed untouchable, are scattered like broken masks across the ground. He searches for Leonidas's body. When he finds it, rage erupts. He orders the king's head taken, a display, a warning, a violation of the customs even enemies usually respect. It is the act of a man who won but feels threatened anyway, because something small stood in his way and made him pay, and that frightens emperors more than defeats do. What remains after 2,500 years? Time moves. 2.5 millennia grind down names and sharpen myths. People remember 300. They forget that others stood with you for the first days. They forget the wider Greek effort because history loves a clean symbol. They say Xerxes brought 1,000,000 men. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it was 200,000. But in a narrow pass, even 200,000 is still a tide. They remember Spartans as monsters of discipline. And in some ways, you were. Bones found in graves suggest bodies built thick, dense, built by training and by harsh selection. Diet studies hint at meat eaten more often than most ancient people could afford because an entire system fed the warrior class. An entire economy existed to support your biceps, and the helots paid the bill with their lives. Spartan women stand out in the records too, training their bodies, owning property, running households while men lived in barracks and died in wars. Sparta's power had a hidden structure behind it, a quiet strength the myths rarely show. Your sacrifice bought time. Time for Greeks to rally, to build fleets, to fight again. And in later battles, Persia was beaten back. So people say, you saved Greece. They say you saved a future in which Athens would build philosophy, theater, and democracy. And then they add a darker truth. Sparta built perfect soldiers, but it did not build much else. No poets remembered, no great art preserved, no grand ruins like Athens, just olive trees and quiet earth where the city once stood. A system that devoted everything to war eventually struggled to sustain itself. Even the strongest wall can collapse from the inside. Your law was simple. You were born under judgment. You were raised under hunger. You were shaped under pain. You were tested under ritual. You were turned into a shadow. You were accepted into a brotherhood. You became armor. You became a brick in a wall. You died under arrows. And through all of it, the rule never changed. Never retreat. Never crack. Hold. That was your whole life. Not a moral, not a lesson that guarantees happiness. A brutal idea. A legend with blood under its fingernails. But legends, for better or worse, are what survive. And somewhere in the human mind, where fear lives, where courage lives, where discipline lives, the word Spartan still means something. It means a person can be made harder than metal. It means a will can be trained until it refuses to bend. It means you can stand when standing makes no sense. You did. And then the wind moved over the field, and the world kept going, because it always does. But the story stayed, because some lives are designed not to be lived for themselves. Some lives are designed to become a myth, and yours was one of them.